You know, we all know that the Liberals were wiped out in the West. Not a single seat in Alberta or Saskatchewan. Ralph Goodale wasn't a particular advocate for the West in cabinet, but at least he felt some obligation, I think, to do so. What do you mean by it doesn't matter that there's no one in cabinet from those two provinces?
Well, there was Goodale from Saskatchewan, and at one point there was Amarjeet Sohi from Edmonton and Kent Hare from Calgary. There were 5 total members, Liberal MPs in the caucus from Saskatchewan and Alberta from 2015 until 2019. One of the Alberta Liberal MPs was kicked out of caucus for sexually harassing employees. But what I was saying is that there was lots of representation in the caucus and at the cabinet table from Alberta and Saskatchewan between 2015 and 2019. It didn't do us any good.
Right.
Who cares whether we have a member there who's just going to come back to Alberta and Saskatchewan and explain Justin Trudeau's latest wisdom?
Yeah.
We had an Edmonton MP, a guy named Randy Boissonnault, who thankfully was defeated, who led the charge at the Justice Committee in the House of Commons to have the SNC-Lavalin investigation killed.
Yeah.
What good did it do us to have Liberals in the caucus and in the cabinet when they passed bills C-48 and C-69, which kill pipelines, ban Alberta oil, specifically Alberta oil, from northern BC tankers? So it didn't do us any good. And so having more of those same sorts of people in Ottawa doing the same sorts of bowing and scraping to central Canadian bias isn't going to do us any good now either.
Yeah, I suppose it's better not to have those because they'd be a placebo. They would be a fake, oh, well, they're representing us. At least now the hoax is gone and the reality is revealed. Let me ask you, does Justin Trudeau or the PMO, to the best of your knowledge, have someone in Alberta who's speaking the truth to them quietly off the record, just saying, hey, it's really this bad, or hey, like someone who Trudeau or Gerald Butts knows and trusts enough that he can tell them what they don't want to hear? I think Trudeau is surrounded by flatterers and hollow men, empty suits. Do you know if he has anyone who can say, I want to tell you some hard truths now, boss. Here's what it's like. Do you know of anyone like that?
No. And I think the people who are talking to him from Alberta, former Premier Alison Redford, oh my goodness, so glad she's back. She's offered to give advice to Trudeau. I once called her the first NDP Premier of Alberta before there was any inkling that there would be an NDP Premier of Alberta, because she's so left-wing and she's so condescending to people who have what I would consider Alberta viewpoints or Western viewpoints. She couldn't possibly represent the majority of people in Alberta if she was giving advice to Trudeau. Then there was Naheed Nenshi, the mayor of Calgary, who's as left as you can get. He offered to help Trudeau. And all those people would do is say, oh, listen, Mr. Prime Minister, I know that nasty Mr. Kenny says X, Y, Z, or that there's a lot of Albertans around who are writing letters to the editor or speaking out online who say X, Y, Z. But you know what? They're not speaking for all of Albertans. There's lots of people who really do think that your environmental programs, which would be absolutely bogus, but that's what he wants to hear, and that's what they would tell him.
That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant Show, which is a show I do every day. I do a monologue, interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at premium.rebelnews.com.